Hi everyone, this is Elena of The Witch's Box, and I'm here today with another episode of Witch Booktube. And today we're going to be talking about a book that I hinted at a few weeks ago when I was talking about Medicine Woman by Lucy H. Pearce. This is Full Circle Health, Integrated Health Charting for Women by Lucy H. Pearce. I talked about this. She created this as a way to track her health and the cycles that her body goes through, and then put it out. There's this explains it, and then it has actual journaling sheets. I'm going to talk about this in detail in a second, but there's also another book where it's a 3-month charting journal that's just blank and ready for you to put things in. So there may be some confusion, but there are two versions of this one, and then the other one that's just like a 3-month journaling chart book. Okay, so let me read you her bio, and then we're going to get into the book. Lucy H. Pearce is the author of numerous life-changing nonfiction books for women, including Burning Woman, The Rainbow Way, Cultivating Creativity in the Midst of Motherhood, and Moontime, Harness the Ever-Changing Energy of Your Menstrual Cycle, all of which have been Amazon #1 bestsellers in their fields. Her girls' book, Reaching for the Moon, A Girl's Guide to Her Cycles, is now also available in French, Spanish, Polish, and Dutch. Lucy's work is dedicated to supporting women's empowered, embodied expression through her writing, teaching, and art. She lives in East Cork, Ireland, where she runs Womancraft Publishing, creating life-changing, paradigm-shifting books by women for women. And you can find her work at lucyhpearce.com. Okay, several weeks ago, I reviewed her book called Medicine Woman. It's an intense review because I was really charged and having feelings about the medical system and health and all sorts of things. So just know that when you watch that video, and we'll try to link that below. That video was kind of a lot. All that to say, though, that the book was phenomenal. This is my third venture into Lucy's writing, and I just love her, and I love what she has to say, and there's so much wisdom packed in these books. And this is a workbook of sorts, but there is a lot of information in the beginning. And so let me really quickly read the table of contents for this, and then I've got a couple of notes here that I underlined that I wanted to read to you to give you an idea of what this is. She speaks to this process in the Medicine Woman book, and this is basically her way of charting and tracking the various different cycles that our health and our body, mind, and soul go through as a whole system, not as individual systems, which I think is part of the genius of what she's created here. So the table of contents, the first chapter is Full Circle Health, an introduction, and then what to use this book for, how to use this book and getting started, how to use the daily charting pages, sample charting pages, a monthly review, diving deeper, resources, and then she's got her own daily charting pages and monthly review pages. Let me really quickly read this quote to you. This is from the introduction of the book. She writes, and this is in the middle of a sentence, but she writes, "I realized that I needed an integrated space to reflect and capture every level of my body-mind." She calls it her body-mind as a way to bring attention to the fact that we are a whole system, right? We've talked about body, mind, and soul, a holistic health approach where it takes into account every part of you. It's not enough to just have a doctor for your internal medicine. We are whole beings, and your emotional state, your psychological state, your spiritual state absolutely have to do with your physical state. Those things are inextricably woven together. And so much of what goes wrong, here I go on a rant. Dude, I can't stop. It doesn't work to separate those things out. Our medical system continues to compartmentalize parts of ourselves and then try to treat illnesses without looking at all the components involved in what our health is and how it manifests. So she calls it body, mind, body, mind, and soul. But yes. So let me read this again so that I can give you the full quote. "I realized that I needed an integrated space to reflect and capture every level of my body-mind. Something to stand testament to the feminine aspects of my body and inner life, which otherwise are hidden, silenced, and unattended. I needed a tool to help to retrain my body and mind, which would bring me into daily reconnection with them. I needed a system that would combine all of these aspects into one easy-to-use format so that I could have all that information in one place at my fingertips. It needed to be something that integrated all the parts of my health, psycho, physical, mental, energetic. It needed to be something that incorporated words and images because we're holistic beings. It needed to be something that was structured yet flexible and allowed space for me to reflect on the fullness of my experience. It needed to be something that encouraged me to turn up to it daily. And it needed to be something that enabled me to compile and easily track habits and symptoms in a monthly format in order to get a detailed overview of my health. This is very reminiscent to me of the Moon Journal that I reviewed several months ago. I'm going to link to that below as well, because that is a book that is absolutely worth having as well. It doesn't feel as full in terms of what you're tracking in that book as it does in this. You're tracking everything here. When we talk about witchcraft, and I specifically say this regularly, that witchcraft at its heart is really a spiritual path of connection, regardless of your tradition, regardless of whether you're an atheist witch or a Christian witch or whatever. Witchcraft, the craft of witchery, is about honing our capacity for connection, right? If you're going to create magic, you need to be able to connect to the energy that you're working with to create that magic. If you are going to do some transformative ritual, you need to be able to connect to the energies at play there. You need to be able to connect with yourself, with what's going on with you, with how to shift the different energies that are affecting you or influencing you. If you work with the moon, you are tapping into and connecting with the energy streams of the moon through different signs every other day, right? Witchcraft, even if you don't think it's a spiritual path, even if you think that it's a technology, is about connection. You need to hone your ability to connect with the unseen, with the subtle, with the nuanced, okay? What does that have to do with this book? We ignore our bodies so much, even witches. We are living beings. We are a life force. We are inextricably connected to and are of nature. And yet we spend very little time trying to connect to that and try to understand those systems. And I just said this earlier on an IG live. I've said it, 1,000 millions of other people have said it as well. But what you pay attention to grows. What you pay attention to gathers power. We don't pay attention to our bodies, to our health, especially as a holistic pursuit. A book like this is so amazing because I'm going to show you some it's not going to fully make sense to you, because there's a lot going on in these graphs. Like, she talks about cycles and identifying all the various cycles that are affecting you. If you are a menstruating woman, you have a cycle, but you also have a seasonal cycle. There are cycles to your mental health. There are cycles to your body's growth. There are cycles to your menstruation. There are cycles to the way organs work and don't work. There are cycles outside of you that are affecting your health. The moon cycle, the planetary cycle, the seasonal cycles of the planet. They affect us. They affect our health. The way we eat, the way that sometimes, if you really pay attention, you eat a little differently in the winter than you would in the summer. Those cycles are very much a part of how your body manifests its ailments or its strengths or its challenges. And there is never any comprehensive tracking of this information. Very rarely. She's doing it, and some of us do it. But there's so much information that can be gathered there. And in the paying attention, not only are you fueling the growth of your connection by paying attention, but you're empowering yourself and you're empowering your body. You're creating a language together where you can communicate with each other, where you can intuitively tap into, this is going on with me, and this is what's triggered it. This, and this. Even if the trigger happened 3 months ago, because you've charted it, because you've paid attention to it, because you start to really become super intimately familiar with all of the varying cycles that are inhabited in you. You are a complete and utter universe unto yourself. There are multiple different cycles going on with you all at once that need different types of tracking. So this is why I think books like this are so important, because it's important to be just as much a student of the elemental forces outside of you as it is to be a student of the elemental forces inside of you. There is so much that she talks about in terms of tracking cycles, understanding all the ones that may affect you. This is a general daily page. Can you see? It's a lot of detail, so you're not going to know. But there is a place here for each day for you to track what day it is, what phase the moon is in, what sign the moon is in, how you've tracked the very specific things that you want to focus on, whether it be drinking water or exercise or stretching or whatever. Oh my goodness, there's a daily grid. There is pain points, checking in. This is so important. Checking in with your body. What's uncomfortable in your body today? What's tight? Where are you holding? What's clenched? Is there pain? Is there weakness? Is there discomfort? Is there burning? Is there itching? There is a place for you to check in with your body and then mark down on these. I'm going to show you a copy of hers in a minute, but where your body is speaking to you and how. The detail here is amazing. Let me really quickly jump ahead to show you some of what she's done. A lot of detail. Again, I'm not going to expect for you to fully get what these pictures mean, but I want you to get an idea of how much there truly is to track and how much that information is so valuable in becoming intimately aware of yourself, your whole self. I want to read this to you. I just put a little bookmarker here. What to use this book for. And she's got a list. You can use it to track chronic health issues, diet, dream charting, fertility, cycle and awareness, habit building. You can use it for managing mental health issues, medication tracking, postpartum tracking, pregnancy tracking, self-care tracking, sleep tracking, all so important. Spiritual health tracking, stress tracking. I mean, it's amazing. So on top of the fact that you get these very detailed pages where she is asking you to track your energy level. Is your energy high in the morning and low in the afternoon? Is it only low at 3 and 4 o'clock? Like, you're tracking so much energy level and how it changes throughout the day. I just said that. What you've eaten, what you're feeling, when you felt what you felt. If you felt some sort of strange discomfort in your shoulders at a particular time, you write that down. And then the beauty of this is that over the course of an entire month and 30 of these pages, you start to see patterns that tell you so much about, this is causing me a great deal of discomfort. This is causing a great deal of stress. And it's always at this time. And this is the thing. It gives you information so that you are empowered to make choices about how to shift your life. This is the level of intimacy that I would wish for all of us to have with our own bodies and our own health. Because when we go to a doctor, when things are not going well, we are coming to the table at that appointment with so much information that makes it easier not only to ask for what we need, but also to advocate for yourself strongly when you have to. And you know what I think about that you really do need to be advocating for yourself in the health industry very vociferously and very strongly. And you have a better chance of doing that in a strong way if you know what you're talking about. You've tapped in, you know your body, you know your body's language. Oh my God, there's so much. You're charting your physical feeling, you're charting your libido, you're charting your energy, you're charting your emotions, discharge, your hormone levels, all sorts of things. It's exquisite. It's exquisite. You're also charting the season and how that affects you so that over time you've got now information recorded about, when it's summer, these things tend to happen a little bit more frequently than when it's not summer. All of this is such valuable, valuable information for your health. I can't speak enough about how we all should have this. Her writing is predominantly for women, but this is also a book that anyone else can have of any other gender to track because you've got open pages. It's not like there's anything else going on here. It's all blank. Once you learn how to use it, you can use it to track yourself all you can. You chart yourself every day, and then you get this to track the month. Let me show you what this looks like for her. So you're tracking every day. Oh, there's also a menstrual chart as well. This is what her daily tracker looks like for the month. And this is where you start to see the patterns. And it's glorious when you can do that. You would chart what your high stress days are, what your sleep amount was, if you are menstruating, what day of the cycle it was. And you start to track these things. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel like it's miraculous, but it's not. It's so basic and it's such basic biology, but you're going to start to see month after month, very specific cycles that you have, whether you're menstruating or not. This isn't just about menstruation, where you're going to see cycles of anxiety. You're going to see cycles of high libido, low libido. You will see these things. And then when you start tracking it with the season, and when you start tracking it with where the moon has been and what it's been doing and what phase it was in, it feels magical and miraculous, but we're part of nature. And this is the problem. we forget that we're part of this beautiful dance. And so I think that beyond empowering you in the world of your health and managing your health and your own self-care, doing this type of work, I think, wakes us up to remember we are a living being, and all nature, all living beings work with cycles and live in cycles, and we transition in and out of different cycles in different ways on a regular basis. We are all part of nature. There is an entire universe in all this that ties it all together, and we only scratch maybe 0.5% of like intimacy awareness of that. And it's such a disempowering way to live. So obviously, I love this. I think that this is an amazing work, that she's brought all of these things into a chart that you can work with every day. To me is like amazing, because you know me, I love a good chart and I love a good journal and I love a good like record things down. So this is the one, Full Circle Health, Integrated Health Charting for Women. This is the one that comes with the first half where it's all explanation, right? She's telling you how to use this and why you would do this and all the things that you want to look at on a daily basis. And then there is another one, and I wish I remember, but it's called something similar, but the tagline or the subtitle is that it's a 3-month journal. So you can then keep buying those. Every 3 months, you get a new one where you just keep charting. So like that. Lucy Pearce, thank you. Because honestly, this is amazing. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. I think that it's about really being responsible for ourselves and really being responsible for understanding ourselves and really looking at learning ourselves as a part of our witchcraft. Because to the extent that you can connect inward is the extent that you can connect outward. Those things are not separate. And we need to start with ourselves. We need to start with home. So boom, there you go. If you're using this, let me know below. I'd love to know what your experience has been of using this. I know quite a few of you have like bought into the Lucy H. Pearce train, because man, it's all about Lucy H. Pearce around these parts right now. My neighbor's reading it. Like, I'm like selling it hard, but it's so good. It's so good. So that is today's review. If you're working with these, let me know how that is working for you, and I will link all the other things down below. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I will see you next week. Bye.